The best players to bring in for the last double game week for this season. Let's get into it. Good day, mate. Welcome back to the channel. I'm FPL Root, and welcome back to another FPL video. So this is the last double game week of the season, game week 37, and we're going to be talking about some of the players that you should be looking to take out, or some of the players that you should be looking to bring in. We'll start off with the goalkeepers. So a lot of people have been taking out Kepa. That is because he did get benched in last game against Forest, Chelsea's last game, Forest at home. For me, I feel like that was just to give Mendy a chance. I don't feel like Kepa's lost his place. And with Mendy's performance in that game, he was at fault for one of the goals where he came out and kind of missed it, and the Forest striker scored. So I don't think Mendy will be keeping his place after that. But again, there's always a risk. So a lot of people are bringing him out because they've obviously just seen that he has missed the game. Chelsea's fixtures are really, really bad until the end of the season. So they have City away, United away in a double game week, and Newcastle at home. But that is a double game week. So even though it is a bad one, Kepa does love to rack up them save points and yeah, in turn kind of get bonus and rack up saves. In terms of clean sheets, Chelsea weren't doing too bad this season, but they haven't kept a clean sheet since game week 29. And then before that, it was game week 26. So 2 in 10 game weeks is not looking that good. So this one's kind of a personal one. I do have Kepa in my team. I still haven't decided yet what I'm going to be doing with him, but I don't think it's out of the ordinary to be taking him out even for a -4. Not sure it's the best move, but if you're going to be getting a keeper with another double game week, then it's probably going to be worth it. We'll move on to a keeper who does have a double game week, so Ederson. So I'm sure a lot of owners will be over the moon that he did get a clean sheet and was it 2 bonus or 1 bonus? Yeah, he got bonus. So in that game on the weekend against Everton away. So that's his first clean sheet since game week 27. And he did end up getting bonus, and a lot of people have been saying that he can't get bonus because he doesn't really make any saves because Man City are so dominant, but he did get bonus, and his passing and his great passing was a big factor in that. For anyone looking to get a keeper, he's definitely probably one of the best options this game week. So he does have a double game week, Chelsea at home, Brighton away, which is not the easiest on paper, but Chelsea are awful. If City win that game, they've won the league. Potentially, if they draw that game, they've won the league too. And potentially, they might not need to do anything in that game to win the league. It all depends on Arsenal's result. And then they go to Brentford away, last game of the season. So, although I did say Ederson is probably the best option, however, I do feel like he will be rested or dropped or benched. Obviously not dropped, but benched one of them games. This is because if City do win the league in that Chelsea game, then they're just chilling until the end of the season. I know Pep will want to keep his players fresh if they have a Champions League final, and they definitely have an FA Cup final. But for me, with goalkeepers, you probably don't need to keep them as fresh. So having said that, I do feel like he will miss one game, and I feel like that will be Brighton away in 37 or Brentford away in 38. So if you do have him, or you are looking to bring him in, definitely be wary of that. Apart from that, he's probably the one of the safest bets in that Man City defense goalkeeper. But I'll be talking about that later on in the video where we'll be going through defenders. Another great option is David De Gea. So obviously we all know his mistakes recently, especially that goal against West Ham where he just chucks it in the net. But he is going to win the Golden Glove, Man United, and he's kept 16 clean sheets this season, which is pretty good. And for 5 million, he's almost a bargain at just below premium level. If you do only have 2 United players, then De Gea is a good option to bring in. Bournemouth away and Chelsea at home in a really good double game week, and then Fulham at home in 38. He is a little bit of a differential, 11.8% owned. However, we'll discuss it in the next part of the video. I do feel like there's a Man United defender or two that you're better off getting instead of De Gea. If you've already got your defender slots, if you've got Trent, a Brighton defender, a City defender, and you can't really get in a United one, then De Gea is a great option if you are looking to bring in a goalkeeper, if your keeper doesn't have a double game week or you're just not happy with him. Another option is Still. So the Brighton goalkeeper, so he does have a double game week. Southampton at home and City at home. So really okay double game week, 2 home games, I know, but that City game could be an interesting one. They could have won the league. They could have been resting players. So although it does look hard on paper, you never know what sort of City side will put out. It's likely to still be strong and they're likely to still beat Brighton, but it won't be as strong. And 4 million, he can literally get into anyone's team. So if you are struggling for cash and you want to kind of maybe take out Kepa, take out David Raya, and save that bit of money for another transfer, then Still is definitely a really, really good option. So far, only 1 game has been played in game week 37. So he's got that clean sheet against Arsenal. Obviously, in game week 35, he scored an own goal and conceded 5, so he ended up with a -2. But before that, 9 points against Man United, 6 points against Wolves, 10 points in an away loss, 3-1 loss to Forest. And then he didn't play against Chelsea. But yeah, he's done really, really well. And for 4 million, he's an absolute bargain, really. For me, if you don't have Man United players or you've only got 2, and your defensive spots are full, I would be going for David De Gea. Likewise with Brighton players, if you have a spot and your defense is full, I'd be going for Still. A lot of people already have 2 or 3 Man United, so the next best option is Ederson, but just be careful, as I feel like he will miss one of them 3 games. So kind of a FPL favourite and a player I'm sure all of us have had in our teams for most of the season, Kieran Trippier. As you can see by his ownership level, 65% owned. He is being transferred out quite a lot at the minute. He has been taken out by over 30,000 people, which is really high considering, which is the most out of any other player. So yeah, definitely a player that a lot of people are looking to bring out. That is because he hasn't returned in 8 game weeks. The last time he did return was Man United at home, where he got a clean sheet and an assist. Newcastle's clean sheets have dried up a lot. That was the last time they kept a clean sheet, and that was the last time Trippier got an attack and return, which is a massive contrast from earlier on in the season where Trippier was picking up attacking returns, clean sheets, bonus. It does feel like their defense has become a little bit leaky. Also, their double game weeks are done for the season, so he'll only have 2 games left, where he plays Leicester at home and Chelsea away. So Leicester are a pretty good attacking team. I know they're towards the bottom of the league, but that is because of their defense, not because of their attack. They do still score goals. Chelsea away, different story. Although on paper, again, Chelsea don't really score that many goals. They have been starting to score a few in the last couple of games, 2 against Forest, 3 against 3 against Bournemouth. Obviously, the caliber of team is different to Newcastle, but they can and have been starting to score goals recently. And it's the last game of the season, anything can happen. For me, I'd be taking him out if you don't have then one of these next 2 defenders. So Luke Shaw, just as I mentioned with De Gea, United do look really solid defensively, and Luke Shaw looks nailed in this Man United team. He has been playing centre back, so his attack and returns have been lacking, but he's now been moved to left back as Varane is back. So he'll probably stay at left back for the rest of the season. And United's fixtures do look really, really good. 2 home games, which we know how good they are at home, and Bournemouth away. in 37 with their double with Chelsea at home. So Shaw, like I said, has been lacking with attacking returns. His last attacking return was game week 23. So you could say he's due one, but he has been playing that centre-back role, which does limit that. If I was looking to bring in a Man United defensive player or a goalkeeper, I'd be going for Luke Shaw. I just feel like I know he hasn't really shown the attacking threat in the last few game weeks, but he can. And now that he's back at left back, it's more than likely that he can get an attacking return and he can get forward. Just as an example, his expected assists for the West Ham game in 35 was 0.01, and in 36 against Wolves, where he was playing left back, is 0.23. The last time he did achieve that high was against Liverpool away in game week 26. And yeah, so he does benefit from playing left back. So I'd rather go for Luke Shaw than David De Gea if you are looking for a defensive / goalkeeper Man United option. Estupiñán, I have him in every week. If you don't own him, I'm gutted for you. After his 17-pointer against Arsenal, I have had him in every week. So hopefully you've all listened. Let me know in the comments below if you did listen and you did bring him in. He's still only 17.6% owned, and he's got another double game week. So Southampton at home and City at home, just like Still we've just spoken about, and then Villa away last game of the season. I think if you don't have a Brighton defensive asset and you can afford to pay that extra 0.9 million more, then go for Estupiñán. He's shown against Arsenal that he can get forward, he can get goals, he can get assists, and Brighton defensively look pretty okay, I'd say. For me, yeah, bring him in. If you haven't, then I'm absolutely gutted for you with that 17-pointer, but you should have listened to the earlier videos where I've had him in literally every week, so no excuses with that one. Tarkowski is kind of a player that I've put in because I've seen a lot of people kind of downgrading Trippier to save some money elsewhere, and they don't really need a defender for this week. So they've got Shaw, they've got Estupiñán, they've got Trent, they've got a City defender maybe. So they kind of need a player for game week 38 sort of thing. So a bench player that they could play in 38 and just to save a lot of money. So at 4.1 million, I think Tarkowski is the best option. Everton has still got everything to fight for. And the defence, don't get me wrong, the defence hasn't been great by any stretch of the means, but the last clean sheet was against Palace in 32. And before that was 27 against Brentford. So they're not really that good defensively, but for game at 38, Bournemouth at home, Everton fighting for their lives. You know what the atmosphere is going to be like at Goodison Park, and I can just see Tarkowski coming up with a bullet header to keep Everton up and to keep that clean sheet as well. So if you are looking to downgrade Trippier or someone like that for a bench player, then I think go for Tarkowski, as he's definitely playable in game week 38. And with game week 38, I think there's going to be a lot of rotation, a lot of players that haven't played all season will get a chance to play for teams that have nothing to play for. So there may be a little bit of rotation in your team. So to have Tarkowski on the bench with Bournemouth at home, Everton fighting for their lives, there's not going to be any rotation there. Definitely a good option. And Marcus Rashford did pick up a leg injury, and he did miss game week 36. So he is still flagged at this current moment, and over 160,000 FPL managers have taken him out. He is pretty highly owned, so just under 40%. But Man United do have a double game week in 37, so this is a tricky one. Obviously, if he's fit, he will be in our team and be a potential captain with Bournemouth away and Chelsea at home in that double game week. But if he's not fit, it's probably time to take him out. In terms of who for, we'll discuss that later on in the midfielder section. But I'd definitely keep an eye out and listen to Ten Hag, see what he says. If he's going to miss the first game, play the second game, then you could argue that you keep him in, as he does have Fulham at home in 38. And we know how quick he kind of bounced back last time he was injured. He said he was going to miss a couple of weeks, and he was back for Sevilla. Then he was back completely. So maybe he has been rushed back, and now he's actually really injured. But definitely keep an ear out for what Ten Hag says. If he is going to miss one of them games, I probably will be taking him out, as you never know, a reoccurring injury, or if there's any sort of uncertainty around whether he will be back, then I'm just going to take him out. The season's nearly over. I just can't really afford to be wasting a spot with Marcus Rashford if he's not going to play. If he is going to play, then I think he is a great option. But we'll have to wait and see from Ten Hag. A few of his replacements do come in the lights of a single game week player. So Eze, again, he was in my video last week, so hopefully you did pay attention. You did bring him in he did get a 16-pointer, 2 goals against Bournemouth at home. And although Palace don't have a double game week, they have Fulham away and Forest at home in the last 2, which is looking really good. And they're scoring quite a lot of goals at the moment. So it's 2 against Bournemouth, 3 against West Ham, 2 against Southampton, 5 against Leeds. So and Eze's been kind of a main part of that. 2 goals against Bournemouth, 1 against West Ham, 2 against Southampton, 1 against Leeds, 1 against Leicester. And for 5.5 million, I think he's a great option. Again, if you do need that money, if you're going to be downgrading Rashford and upgrading another spot, then I think Eze is a pretty good option and a differential. Gundogan is a player that has done incredibly well the last 2 game weeks. A 13-pointer against Leeds and a 19-pointer against Everton. So he's got 5 attacking returns in his last 2 games. Before that, he wasn't really starting consistently. He missed game week 34. He missed game week 31. And game week 22. So he did have a good stretch, but not consistently starting, not a guarantee. Almost like, obviously Grealish got benched because of the Champions League, but like you say, Jack Grealish was the first option in the City team. With Gundogan, he's a great replacement for Rashford. Exactly the same money, only 3.3% owned. So anyone that did own him was absolutely laughing this week and last week. Firmino, I'm not too sure on him. So I think it's likely that he will be leaving at the end of the season. I've just heard allegedly that he's going to be sold. So I'm not sure if Pep will want to play him kind of the last 2-3 games. But I think go for it. If you think Rashford's not going to play and you've got a City spot, then I think he is a good option. You've also got Mahrez for 7.4 million, so just 1.1 million above, who's done really well as well. In the last 4 games, he has got 5 returns, so 5 assists. Obviously, no goals, which is annoying. But 1 game he did get 2 assists, and Mahrez could be an option. But you never know with that right hand side. It could be Foden, could be Mahrez, could even be Alvarez sometimes. But with Gundogan, really, you've got kind of Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne, Alvarez sometimes plays that role. There's not really as many options. So if you do think Gundogan's going to start the rest of the season, then I think he's a great option, and he's a differential. He's been bought in by over 115,000 FPL managers, which is the most transferred in player this game week. So a lot of people are taking the punt for him. For me, I'd just be wary, see what happens midweek against Real Madrid. If he starts that, then could be tricky. But if he doesn't, then I think he's a great option to bring in for Chelsea at home and Brighton away in a double game week. Another player a lot of people are moving to from Rashford is Bruno Fernandes. I think he's the perfect replacement if you have got that spare money to replace Rashford with if he is out. He's still a differential, 8.6% owned. 58,000 managers have bought him in, so still not loads because of that price point. I think it is, and because he hasn't been doing that great recently. So 3 attacking returns in the last 5 game weeks, which is which is okay. You kind of want more from him, really. Hopefully he can deliver that in the double game week with Bournemouth away and Chelsea at home. If you can go up to Fernandes, I'd definitely go for him. That kind of covers you. I don't want to say covers you, as Rashford's been great this season, but does give you that Man United attacker over Rashford. Another player a lot of people have been talking about is Anthony, so the same price as Rashford. For me, I just don't feel like he's clinical in front of goal. You're going to be very frustrated, but as a punt, you could probably go there. He does look pretty nailed. Last time he did miss a game, obviously game week 34, but that was a double game week for United. Before that, it was game week 24. So he's had a good run in the team. Hasn't been banging in the goals, but he will be a punt, 3.2% owned, and could be an option for you if you are looking to take out Rashford. But for me, I'd be looking at Bruno Fernandes as a priority. If you can get to Fernandes, go for it. If not, one of the City boys, whoever you think is going to start, Gundogan, Mahrez, Foden. So Ivan Toney did miss game week 36. So he has kind of got a hamstring injury, but there are rumours that his betting ban will be announced very soon, allegedly. So I can see why a lot of people are trying to bring him out. So 45,000 FPL managers have taken him out already. And with them fixtures, he's probably not a smart keep if you do have Ivan Toney. So Spurs away and City at home. Having said that, Toney can score against anyone. So if he is back and he's not injured and he's not banned, then he could be a keep. If you don't have any other transfers to make, then I'd probably be taking him out. For me, I just wouldn't risk it. Coming towards the end of the season, you just want to be decisive with your moves. Horrible fixtures, injured, and potential ban. Just wouldn't be keeping him in my team. There's plenty of forwards out there to go for. Ollie Watkins is another player people have been taking out. He has slightly dipped in form over the past 3-4 game weeks. So his assist against Spurs 4-pointer was the first time he's returned since game week 31. So he did blank 4 game weeks in a row. The 4 game weeks I had him for. So not the best. And his fixtures do turn as well. So Liverpool away and Brighton at home. That Liverpool game will be tough, but Brighton at home, both teams are pretty even, I'd say. Maybe Brighton slightly a better team, but Villa at home do look pretty solid. 25,000 of you have taken out Watkins. Again, I don't think it's the end of the world if you have to keep him, but I think there are better forwards out there. One being Alvarez. So he has started the last 4 Man City games. Could this be because of De Bruyne's injury? Could this be because of the Champions League and the kind of need to rest some players? Yes, that is correct. But for 6 million, I feel like he will start at least 2 of the last 3 game weeks. And potentially Haaland could be rested in one of them and give Alvarez a chance to start up front. Let's assume that it'll be kind of full strength for that Chelsea at home game, but Brighton away or Brentford away could be a chance for Haaland to get a rest. Although 6 million is cheap, I do feel like there are slightly better Man City options out there. He's blanked in his last 3 started as well, so it's not like he's tearing it up at the moment, and it's not like Man City don't score enough goals. They've scored 8 in their last 3, so there's potential kind of opportunities for him to get on the score sheet. It's not like they're not scoring at all. So yeah, Alvarez is a bit too punty for my liking. Talk about punty, we've got Anthony Martial. A lot of people kind of like the look of him. He is back from injury, and with Rashford out, he's probably more likely to start because Rashford can't go down the middle. Probably likely to start over Weghorst as well, I'd say, as Man United do look much better with him in the team. As kind of an end of season punt, I don't hate it at all. 6.3 million, 1.4% owned. But for me, I just don't think he'll start both games in double game week. He hasn't started 2 games in a row since since game week 18, game week 19. So that doesn't look good at all for him. Although the turnaround is not bad for Man United. So Bournemouth is at 3 p.m. on a Saturday UK time, and I'm trying to do my maths because my times are in Australian time, and Thursday at 8 p.m. Against Chelsea. So there's a good break, but for me, I don't feel like it's worth risking it for Martial. I think Alvarez and Martial are great punts if you're going to be taking out Watkins and Tony. Then I don't hate it at all. But I wouldn't be rushing to bring them in. If you have kind of a spare transfer, or Rashford is fit and you don't need to take out Rashford, and you don't need a new keeper, and you don't need to bring in a defender, and you just kind of got a luxury transfer to make, then I think Tony or Watkins to Alvarez or Martial is a good move. Tony more than Watkins, as it does look like he is injured and potentially out for the rest of the season. With Watkins, I'd be a little bit more mindful. Villa have still got Europe to kind of fight for, but I don't hate the punts of Alvarez or Martial. I'd probably prefer Martial slightly, although Alvarez is I guess more likely to start. I just feel like Martial is kind of a bigger differential, and Man United have less goal scorers, if you could say that. Apart from Rashford, and like basically Rashford, there's not that many goals in their team. So I think Martial being in there will increase their team, make them play better and score more goals, which he did do on the weekend against Wolves. So he did score and got an 8-pointer. Another option to look at if you don't already have free Brian is Asensio. So again, another player I did put in my video last week. Hopefully he brought him in as he did score. Is a good option at 4.6 million, but I think he did come off injured against Arsenal. So don't hold me to that, but definitely keep a kind of eye on it. Whether he's injured or not, he's not flagged, so I don't think it's serious, but I'm pretty sure he came off with an injury. Another player that a lot of people bringing in is Wilson. For me, now the double game weeks are done. Wouldn't be bringing him in. You kind of missed the boat with that one. Leicester at home, Chelsea away is not bad, but I'd rather go for a double game week forward, or even someone like Gabriel Jesus with Forest away, Wolves at home. Mitrovic could be an option too. Palace at home, United away, not the best again, but definitely an option. Or even someone like Dominic Calvert-Lewin, so he is flagged, so a massive punt. And he is 0.3% owned, but Wolves away, Bournemouth at home, Everton are fighting for their lives. We know how good he can be, but that injury is a slight concern, so I'll probably stay clear. For me, though, yeah, I think Alvarez and Martial are the best options if you're going to be taking out Tony or Watkins or another striker around that price point. Well, that was it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know below what your transfer plans are for this week, and what you think double game week 37 is going to look like. Is it going to be a big one? Yeah, leave a comment below and let me know what you're thinking. Cheers.